Hello, so Rizda here. I'm working on the Snort anime opening, so you can probably see. We've got Tyrone in the middle here, and then Calamity to the left, who's looking on disapprovingly. We've already finished him. I've been working on the sketch for Tyrone, and then I will go over it again in pen. Let me know if it's working or not. I've been working on sketch for Tyrone, and then I will go over it again in pen. Let me know if it's working or not. I'm not sure what exactly to do with the lower half of Tyrone's body here, because I've got, I don't know, you can never really see like the actual original Tyrone Jamal image, like his feet or anything, so I'm not exactly sure what happens to like the draping coat that he usually has on. I'm not sure if I should give him like some trousers or something. Similar sort of drapery. I'll be checking the stream chat every now and again, so if you want to say anything or ask any questions or anything or suggest something to do with the opening, I'll be happy to answer that. Oh, hello, Busty. I haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're doing alright. I'll give Tyrone Jamal some sandals. That's Egyptian way. That's a bit of a weirdly proportioned leg. I should probably change that a bit. I wasn't really looking. God. Just shrink it a bit. Okay, I'll move my microphone a bit closer as well. Just so you can hear me a bit better. Hopefully it's not too quiet. I can turn it up on the recording software as well, I think. So I might try and do that if it is that quiet. I'm not sure what exactly happens to the window when I like try and resize it. I'm not sure if it gets resized on the screen or if it stays the same, because I'm trying to figure out a way that I can keep the stream chat on screen without having to like move around the actual drawing canvas. You know, it still looks like a pretty fucked up leg, so I'll probably change that actually. And this head as well, I've already finished. Yeah, probably just needs to be a bit longer. Yeah, that's about long enough. Looks good. It looks a bit bizarre, but I guess it's from another time, isn't he? Jamal. Maybe try and make his pose a bit more dramatic, sticking his leg out like this a bit more. Probably lower the knee on the other leg as well, so it's quite a high up knee, I think. Well, it looks quite odd. I'll change that when I finish this. Okay, sorry about that. I was just checking if it was working. Yeah, if it's working, that's fine. In terms of animation, I'm gonna do like some small cuts to begin with. Like it's based on an original like property, so which doesn't have a massive amount of animation in the beginning sort of section, which I'm doing at the moment, which is just sort of still images. When it comes to sort of the actual meat of it, which is animated a bit more, I'm not sure. I guess I'll have to sort of figure it out and learn how to animate a bit better. Like I've tried animation a bit. It's like yeah, I'm okay at it, but not amazing. I'm sure I'll figure something out. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be like hand drawn animated. It could be like with an editing software, I could make the images move in that way. So I'll figure it out when I'll cross that bridge when I get to it, I guess. So to answer your question, sorry. Hopefully it doesn't end up too terribly. Yeah, I don't know why people on Snort said it's not working. If you can see it fine, I'm just yeah. Yeah, I think that looks alright. Yeah, Tyrone has always been like a difficult sort of character to draw in all my Snort OC because like that's the most complicated like outfit, I suppose. Quite a complicated face, has very sort of strong masculine features, which can be kind of difficult to draw. I think I'm doing an alright job this time though. Seems to look okay. Yeah, they just look a bit sort of manlety. I might have to like resize that a bit, but doesn't look. It's not terribly proportioned. So add some detail on the clothing for now, and then I'll work on the hands, and then work on figuring out how big it's going to be relative to the other characters. Oh, hello, Johan. I'm glad it's working. Yeah, I've seen Flash. I know it's pretty simple to work in that. There's like a decent animation plugin like on this software that I've used before. Like I'll see if I can find it now. It's like it's fairly simple and like you can animate. It's quite similar to the way that Flash does it. It's called like onion skin mode. There it is. Yeah, so you've got like the layers and you've got them. I'll put it somewhere a bit better that you can see it. Like you've got like landfalls on one layer and then the rest on another layer. But like so with animation, that would be like the two frames of animation. You'd be able to see the frames and then animate around that. It's not too terrible. I've done a bit of animation in that. It's been okay. So hopefully I'll be able to use that in the coming work. Yeah, I don't know if Tyrone's that much of a manlet. I'm not entirely sure what he should be doing with his hands. So if you've got any suggestions like what he could be doing, like should he be like throwing up some gang signs or something? Or I'm not entirely sure. Fuck. Oh, I've done it on like the same layer. That's annoying. Figure that one out. No, that's not even that much. That's alright. It's just like the leg. Now everyone can see like the arduous process of creating Snort original content. It's like, it just takes forever. I'm not a particularly fast worker either. Unless like Hitler's there to speed me up. That's what Tyrone should be doing with his hands, like getting up to leave the server. Yeah, I'll put like a phone in his hand and he can be like leaving the server. Let's get rid of this stuff on the main layer. I think it's probably time to just like put it in pen now, and then I can resize it at the end to make it a bit more proportionally in line with the rest of the figures on the frame. Yeah, I was you guys might not have been in, but I said like if you got any questions or anything, or I'll be checking the chat, and then I'll be able to answer. Or if you have any advice on what I should do with the drawing, I'll happily take that. Does it look strange when I do this? Like, does it resize the window? You guys might not have been in, but I said like any questions or anything. I'll be checking the chat, and then I'll be able to answer. If you have any advice on what I should do with the drawing, I'll happily take that. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the stream to catch up so I can see. Yeah, it does resize the window, something like. In terms of like the plot of the opening, it's like a sort of vague recreation of the 6th Hunter x Hunter opening. It's not going to follow it like to each beat or anything, but like this first part is quite similar to the beginning of that. What I'm going to do for the rest of it, like following the title card, I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to come up with some ideas whether I should follow it exactly kind of like I have been, or if I should come up with something completely different. Definitely open to suggestions. Or like suggestions about what I should do with the stream itself. Like I could put some background music on or something to cover up when I'm being just not talking. Let me know. Yeah, I have been drawing like a lot recently, so I'm hoping that my style has sort of improved a bit. I'm definitely quite happy with what I've done on this frame so far. It's got like land. I'll put it up now what I've done so far. I've got landfalls and carp and calamity on the left there. So yeah, as you can see, Tyrone is a bit weirdly sized compared to them, so I will edit that slightly once I've finished that. That's sort of the gist of what I'm doing here. might try and like make it a bit longer, the actual like draping coat, I guess. To know how this would exactly like look in real life, so I'm sort of having a bit of guess on how the fabric sort of contorts and stuff. Don't think it looks terrible though. It's always given me trouble in the past when I've been drawing Tyrone. Once I finish this, I'll move on to sort of blacking out shadows on the characters. So I've got like the lines coming in at the moment, but sort of the style that I'm going for is very sort of dramatic lit. I guess like anime influenced. That's what it is. But yeah, like I've coloured this one here with like these very sort of dark shadows, like very black outlines. So I'm going to do the same for these once I've finished the actual sketches. I need to think about a background as well. Not entirely sure what I'm going to be doing with the backgrounds, because in the image I just showed you I used just one of the stock basic backgrounds that I made just like as a placeholder. So I'm gonna have to make some backgrounds, I guess. Figure out what exactly I want to do. Whether I should just try and mimic the opening, the original, or try and do something different. I'm open to doing something different, but something to figure out when I've finished everything else already. I think it's more important to focus on the actual content and drawings of it, because that's the most difficult part. Oh, thanks, Kian. Yeah, I'm working on it. Maybe it'll get done, like, eventually. I'm hoping I do finish it, like, at some point. It's a lot of work. Like, I've only done about fucking 10 seconds, really, once I finish this drawing, out of 80 seconds, so 1/8 of the way through after, I don't remember when I started, like 3 months ago. I'll have to speed up working, I think. I've really been enjoying drawing lately though, so maybe I'll be like inspired to draw some more. Like I'm doing a course at university that I'm interested in now, so I'm a bit more motivated to work on stuff. Yeah, I need to do something about those hands though. and see what I can figure out. This is usually what I fucking do. I just leave the hands till the last minute, so I wouldn't know if I can clue what to do with them. So let's phone it in. What I did last time was like him clenching his fists at SJ, I believe it was, in the second Snort ensemble. Can't remember what he was doing in the third one. So maybe I'll just have him like rubbing his hands, so I can find a reference for that. It'd be like that fucking stupid meme with the guy with like his hands crossed in front of him and standing on that path, like the Reddit one. I know I'm like holding something. I'm not sure what exactly. Like, I don't know what's associated with Tyrone Jamal particularly. Whether in the in like the literal sense or as like a character on Snort, I guess. Yeah, exactly. They had to do it to him. Meme. I'm trying to see if I can find like a reference for it, but I can't. Oh no, this one will do. Let's stick that there so I can look at it. Yeah, I've sort of realised lately that I need to use more references, really, for my drawings. Like, I've always drawn very heavily, like, from memory, and I've ended up being really unhappy with how it looks, because I'm not really looking at... It looks really unrealistic and shitty. But now, I've started using references some more recently, and I think my drawings are looking a lot better, which is nice. Definitely the right way to do it, I think. Even though I'm pretty shit at drawing hands still. Need to work on that. Okay, so it's like that. I might need to edit the sleeve slightly to like accommodate for his hands. That shouldn't be too hard. Does that look alright? I don't know. I have to like have this down like that maybe. And his hands like that. Yeah, that looks right. Yeah, the idea for this stream was a bit spontaneous. Like I only decided to do it sort of last minute, but I've wanted to do something like this for a while. It's quite a nice thing to do, I think. Landfalls was talking about like getting an audience. I'm not entirely sure if I'm that interested in in having people like who aren't in Snort watching, but I don't know, might as well. It's interesting. Don't know if it is particularly. More likely not than is, I'd imagine. Everything just looks so much better when you're using a reference. It looks so much more like actually real and well, just realistic, really. It's best proportioned, better for everything. It looks okay. Hopefully that's sort of clear what's happening there. It doesn't just look like a fucking mess of like fingers and stuff. It doesn't look terrible, I guess. Like, might change the way this finger is going. Just make sure that all the fingers are like the correct width. Yeah, I think that looks alright. Maybe. If you think I should like get in Snort VC or something, if that would be more interesting, I can. I'm not sure how that would work with the actual stream playing at the same time. It's a bit delayed. Oh yeah, that is a good reference actually. Ian. Yeah, I should have used that actually. It's done now though, so I can move on from drawing fucking hands again. I hate that shit. So we can get Tyrone like a bit more proportioned. Looks like an alright height maybe. Like that a bit maybe. Don't want to mess around with it too much. I think that looks okay. Where the fuck's landfalls? There it is. Alright, now I'm gonna start colouring it, I guess. I'm not sure if this is exactly how they'll be positioned on the final outcome, but might as well just start here. Don't know which character I should start with. I guess I'll start with landfalls because it's quite an easy colouring scheme. I'll find a reference of Yu-Gi-Oh Man. Needs to be season 0. this landfall's his avatar, or it was at some point, I think. So if I'm in the corner, so use just my colouring guide. Fuck, I actually have got to do the shadows as well. Actually, I just forgot even though I was talking about that like not long ago at all. I'll do that first. Yeah, I'll still just start with landfalls there. So what I was doing with the shadows before was sort of like quite exaggerated, but only in the places that would be the correct position for the light, so I'm not going to go overboard with it. So I don't want the picture being like overwhelmed with black, or having the sort of line art being distracted from by just dark tones that you can't really see anything through. I might go a bit less sort of crazy with the blacks on this drawing compared to the last one, just because I'm a bit more proud of the line art for this one. I don't want to fuck it up. I'll see how it looks. Might as well just keep this on so I can sort of see how it would look. The hands remind you of a Happy Merchant. Yeah, I considered using that as a reference, but I don't think it's in exactly the right angle. Yeah, it's kind of like a running joke in my drawings. Like I draw Calamity as like it's like really tall. It's kind of funny. I may end up shrinking it. Nothing's in stone yet, but I'm kind of happy with how my characters are proportioned at the moment. Landfalls has always been like an interesting character to draw as like in Snort OC, just because like fully sort of referenced pictures of like Yami Yugi exist, so I guess I would just use that really. If I wanted like wanted to draw him, so it's quite easy. It's like an established character. Same with like all the other Snort users that use like established characters as their profile picture. Eamon said transvestite falls. I don't know if that's in reference to my drawing looking like a tranny or just landfalls being a tranny. But I don't know, I guess I'd agree. Yeah, I think that looks alright. I'm pretty happy with how the shadows look here. Maybe because, like, Yami Yugi's a character that is usually shaded quite dramatically anyway. So, it kind of looks appropriate on him or landfalls. It's quite like shiny trousers as well. I don't know how comfortable that would actually be. If you're wondering why I'm sort of colouring it in by hand and not using the fill tool, is because usually the fill tool creates like uneven edges around the filled area and doesn't look particularly good. There's a lot of imperfections, so I find it's just easier in the long run to just do it like this. Might have discussed that with Johan on one of our Snortcast drawing episodes, I can't remember. So I'm glad the stream is like of good quality, because it was really terrible at where I was living before. So I'm glad that I can actually stream to like a competent quality now. It'd be good if I was like still a snorter, because then I could actually do like snorter streams, because that's what Fagster was asking for, I remember. Instead of the Yugi one, you mean like I should draw him as a transvestite instead of as Zami Yugi. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess next time I'm drawing him in something, I'll just draw him as a tranny instead. It's always fun to sort of play around with the sort of shapes of the shading that I use. It can be quite useful to sort of show the contours of the fabric as well. It's a nice way to suggest it rather than just straight lines. Looks right, I think. I went to the Anime and Manga Society meeting for my university last night. It was a pretty big like Spurg out, like Spurg Fest. Lots of like Redditors and fucking retarded weebs there. Also like some massive black guy with like a Dragon Ball Z hoodie. I just thought it was pretty funny. It's like the only black guy who shows up. Did seem to be pretty like knowledgeable about anime though. It's like named like obscure anime. It's pretty funny. It's the most bullshit fucking hair possible. Like the most difficult hairstyle to draw ever. It looks alright though. Like, once you start thinking about it, it's just extremely bizarre. I don't know what the fuck is actually going on. He has that like weird collar on as well. I don't know what it is. It's like a belt on his neck. It's like a choker before chokers were actually a thing. Did they ask you if I had read it? No, they didn't. They were just sort of. There was like a lot of Redditors like sat behind me talking about like seasonal anime, and I made friends with like some guy who likes Ruby, which is a bit cringe, but he seems like an alright dude. There's lots of like JoJo memers making like JoJo references. It was pretty terrible. Got to stay away from that group. Pretty sure they hadn't even like seen the show either. It's never animated in the series. What are you referring to? Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh man's hair. Yeah, thankfully. They still had to fucking draw it every frame though. I'm not surprised it never fucking moves. Like, I can't imagine how difficult it would be to like animate every single fucking part of it. I think that looks alright. I think that's about finished probably. Maybe put like a bit more shading here. Yeah, I think that looks great. I think I might stop here because I'm actually just extremely hungry. But I might stream a bit later again, sort of after I've eaten, in like an hour or so, if anyone's interested. But I guess, and for now, thanks for watching, I guess.